we're diving into a fascinating world of science in one of the major disciplines of physics, and that is quantum physics. With me in studio today is young, bright, young minds here. One of them got a chance to go and take part in an international exchange program in China, together with a person that shapes the young, bright minds, and that is a lecturer at the University of Nairobi. I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves, but first up, my name is Whitney Lubidu, and I will be hosting them in this segment. To you.
I'm Francis Awiti, a graduate student from the University of Nairobi. I did Bachelor of Education Science in Kenya Science. So I'm an alumni of this school. Yeah.
I'm Dr. Elijah Ayeta, a senior lecturer in the Department of Physics and specializing in quantum solid-state physics. And I'm the one who is the principal investigator at the University of Nairobi.
So, Dr. Ayeta, you were the lecturer who was behind this exchange program. How did you come to find out about this exchange program, and how did you put your students on this exchange program?
Well, I normally get collaborated with these people who are doing the same research I do, and I meet them when I go for conferences, international conferences. Some of them are interested in what I do and also interested in what they do. We publish papers together. So the students I teach in class, I normally weigh their abilities, and the ones I feel are really good and are interested in the area where I work, I normally make them join the program. So once you join the program, they'll finance you with everything you need in order to go for internship.
So to Francis, you got a chance to go for an exchange program in a different country.
Yes.
How was your experience in China as an exchange program for the time you stayed there?
During my stay in China, I got exposure to the outside world and I learned a lot. I was inspired with their advanced technology and how they apply their systems. Apart from that, academically, I also learned about different research methods, which I'm hoping to use them in future. Then also, I also got the chance to have the cultural exchange with the Chinese people, and also we looked at the famous history of China by visiting the historic sites in China, like for example the Xixi National Wetland Museum, also the West Lake.
So it was an international exchange program in
Yes.
quantum physics.
Yes.
Quantum physics is one of the major disciplines in physics,
Yes.
and it involves a lot of research, a lot of coming up with the projects and experiments.
Yes.
What are some of the projects you came out with in China?
The projects I came out in China, one was quantum precision measurement. This is a system where we look at how we can measure different systems precisely with high level of accuracy, which cannot be achieved by the classical physics. So, since quantum simply means the study of matter and its relation to energy with the smallest particles of the universe, so we are able to do precise measurements with quantum physics, unlike the classical physics, which is limited by different things. Yes.
So to the lecturer, you've seen students go from the classroom setup to the labs, and now you're putting them on international opportunities. Why do you think this is something that is very crucial for them as students coming up from the local part of the country?
It gives them the exposure in this particular area. There are so many machines we don't have in Kenya. They just do them theoretically. When they go to these other countries, they get to see the machines and they do everything practically. Also, they also get to know other opportunities outside there. When you are in Kenya, you cannot know how much is done outside there and where the opportunities are.
So exposure at a global stage.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You've talked about doing your PhD and your master's in different parts of the globe, in the different parts of the world. And now you're putting your students to these different parts of the world. Can you tell us how you came to know about this opportunity? And yes, how you came to know about this opportunity?
Having done my master's and PhDs outside has exposed me a lot. One, most of the students we shared a class with, especially from master's and PhD, They were from India, from China, from America, from Europe. I still keep in contact with them through LinkedIn.com or from Facebook. So sometimes we communicate and they tell me opportunities outside there. And this opportunity are normally linked to my students. For instance, Mr. Francis here has a classmate called Mercy Wesonga, who I took to USA, Miami University to do her master's. She's really working hard. And actually I promised them in class that if you get an A in statistical physics, then I give you a scholarship. She did it and I didn't have anything to do. I have to give her that scholarship.
So you just honored
So
your
I did
dad.
it through friends, you know?
Yeah. So you're the lecturer who put 2 students for this specific international exchange program in China. So my question is, was there a process of selecting the students other than the one you've just said, if you get an A, you're gonna go, I'm gonna give you this and this and this? Or were there any specific academic or research criteria that they needed to meet in order to be part of this international exchange program?
Yes. One, we look for the students who are interested in quantum physics. 2, we look for the students who are good enough and can manage to understand what the research is all about. Then the third part, I normally send an email to the faculty members to help in the selection. For instance, there is a postdoc they wanted in quantum physics. I sent an email to the staff members, but we couldn't get anybody because they wanted specifically from the University of Nairobi. Up to now, that chance is still there.
They're still looking for students.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I do everything in collaboration with my colleagues. They also help me scout out who can go there.
So to Francis, for those hearing about this scholarship for the first time, what was the main focus of your internship opportunity in China?
My main focus was to strengthen my research skills and also to have the clear outlook of how different machines are being operated, because most of them are not available here in Kenya. So we were able to get the first-hand information rather than the pictures we always use. Yeah.
So were you in China, were you working on the theoretical aspects of quantum physics, like either quantum computing models, or even the experimental parts like the experiments and the lab works and just coming up with things?
So during our undergraduate, we mainly focused on the theoretical aspect. So going to China now enabled me to focus on the practical aspect of quantum physics.
So was there any key learning goal or challenge that the program set you out for, or even prepared you for like future expertise in the world of physics?
It prepared me a lot. Thank you for the question. First, I garnered different research methods, and also the interaction with the professors at the university also gave me the easiest ways one can do the master's degree by first identifying what you need to work on. First, you need to identify the problem you want to solve. Then that problem is what you work towards. So it's all about identifying a problem. Then you do research on that problem to come up with a solution to it.
Okay.
Yes.
To the lecturer, was there any proud moment as a lecturer or as a teacher for you as their mentor during the international exchange program? You know, there are places you go and they call you like, I like your students, they're so hardworking. Was there any proud moment?
There was. Actually, they kept on calling me. When they were going to make their presentation, they called me. They told me they did an excellent preparation. After the presentation, I got a call from Dr. Hugo telling me that my students are wonderful and they are very much interested in doing whatever they are doing. They speak very good English. You know them, they don't learn as good English as ours. And I think that gave them a very big edge over the Chinese.
So I believe as an educator, as an instructor, you're trying your best to bridge the gap between continents and taking your students to a global stage. So do you think Kenya and Africa are ready to tap into the quantum technologies in the near future? Because we're living in evolving times and in times where innovations are actually coming up to try and thin the line of science.
The answer I will give you is yes. Because when we talk of quantum, actually, it's not just physics the way we hear it. It's both physics and even engineering, all the sciences. This phone you are having on your hand is using quantum. In the communication, we use quantum. What we are having in this studio is all quantum in transistors.
Yeah.
So we must have to do it. It's when we can be updated technologically.
So quantum is related to like our day-to-day life running and everything. You've talked
Absolutely.
about the phone, you've talked about all this audiovisual content.
Yes.
For someone who's coming to terms with, like for the first time they're getting to learn about quantum, what is the typical five-year-old definition or explanation of quantum to someone?
The layman's definition,
Yeah.
quantum is the study of how matter and energy interact with tiny particles like atoms and molecules. So when we talk of quantum, what we mean is that it is just the smallest unit of energy. Like light has particles. The particles of light are called photon.
Yeah.
So the smallest unit of energy there, the photon, is quantum. If we look at the vibration of the lattices, the smallest unit of energy is called phonon. Phonon is quantum.
Okay.
If I look at the gravity, you know when you throw something down, it falls back.
Newtons.
The smallest unit of energy there is called graviton. That's quantum.
Wow. So quantum is basically the day-to-day things we get to experience, but we don't know the typical word for word or book, the scientific term of it.
I would call it a discrete energy. Discrete energy.
Discrete energy.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've been in China.
Yes.
You've gotten the experience. You've been in a different space.
Yes.
A few days ago, we were celebrating National Immigrants Day,
Yes.
and I believe you're an immigrant in
Yes.
China. It is
Yes.
a new environment for you. So for someone who's aspiring to go into a different country, experience the same, have the same experience in academia, what do you have to tell them?
So first, for the upcoming students, our students at the University of Nairobi, I will just advise them to keep in touch with their professors and lecturers the way I did with my professor here. And also, after graduating, one need to possess basic documents like passport, because sometimes opportunity may present itself in a month time, and it might not be enough for you to process a passport. So you just have your passport and also keep in touch with the professors.
Yeah. So quantum is a very vague field,
Yes.
and I believe having a bachelor in science in just physics isn't
Yes.
enough to like excel in the STEM field, because
Yes.
now quantum is part of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yes.
Do you believe there are some things that you learned during your stay in China that have added to your expertise as someone in the science field?
Yes, it has helped me grow professionally, and also it has changed my perspective of how I view things. Yeah, so basically, when you are learning things theoretically, you might think that these things are too difficult. But now when you get exposed, for example, if somebody explains to you the working principle of a phone screen, then you just be happy and appreciate the
Yeah.
level of technology which was used there by understanding how it works. So it really helped me grow professionally, and I was much thrilled to participate in this program.
Yeah, they say seeing is believing. You know, me when I was in high school and we were doing physics,
Yes,
there are experiments that you're just seeing it in the KLB,
yes,
physics KLB, you're just seeing it in black and white.
yes,
And you're like, oh, the teacher says this is refraction, this is reflection. I believe
Yes.
that is part of
Yes.
quantum. And I was fortunate enough when we were coming out of high school to have the colored book. So you
Yes.
could see this is the rainbow, the spectrum thing. It has 7 colors, you know
Yes.
the colors. So what are some of the experiments that actually stood out for you in China that you're like, oh, I've seen this now in theoretical format, but now I'm experiencing it in experimental format?
The one which thrilled me most was this one we studied theoretically in quantum physics 2, known as the Zeeman effect. So Zeeman's effect simply entails how light splits into spectral lines when it is subjected to magnetic field. So in the labs, we were able to focus some laser beams to a magnetic field. Then from that, we could see how the light splits. Of course, there are two types of Zeeman splitting. There are the the normal and the anomalous. So quantum physics was able to explain for us why we have the anomalous Zeeman effect. So we could see it practically how it's placed into two different spectral lines.
Were there some things that you saw? You know, China is a developed nation compared
Yes.
to our country, Kenya.
Yes.
Were there some things that intrigued you and you're like, if we had this in Kenya, maybe our science field could be much ahead? Or if you saw things and you're like, we really need this in our country?
There were a lot of fascinating things in China. First of all, I would like to share the experience I got. For example, the efficiency in the public systems. This entails things like the transport system, the mode of payment. So you find that the transport system is very efficient. As they have developed subways, they are eradicating the use of fossil fuel vehicles and embarking the use of electric cars. So that was so fascinating. So you find that there is a lot of time efficiency. There is no wastage of time in transportation. Then also they apply advanced technology in their classrooms. So you find that in our typical lecture rooms in the university, for example, the ones we have in the University of Nairobi, they are not having enough facilities. So in a typical lecture room in China, you will find a board. You have screens all over. So regardless of where you are facing, you are able to see what the presenter is giving you. So I think if that can be adopted to our universities, can be.
So to you, Daktari, you've put the students onto this. What do you have to tell, because I believe you're still a lecturer, there's still students who are like, oh, there's this and this opportunity that came up and students from the university got a chance to, so let me also work hard and be part of it. So what do you have to tell the students who believe that there are fixed or no opportunities in the science fields, but from what they've experienced, it's coming out quite the complete different way?
Well, not only these students, but there are more actually I've done. Like when I was having them for a class, they were more interested when I gave them stories of the ones who have gone and what they are the other side. I have the one, Millicent Gikunda, who was from Meru. I took her to Miami. She went to University of Arkansas. Now she's a professor and working with the Intel company from the University of Nairobi. I have Macbeth Julius, who also taught at Kenya Science. They know him. I took him to Miami, then he went to University of Maryland. He's working on this PhD. So all these are, are candidates, and I expect them to come and do development at home here. What they learn from the other side, they should bring to here. That brings high technology. So I believe they will do the same thing I did. Me, I went and acquired knowledge, and now I brought it back home. Because I want my brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters to have the same knowledge I have.
You know, it's giving, it's like Ubuntu, the Ubuntu that Africans used to have, sharing opportunities, sharing the small kind of things that we get, either it's in terms of physical things or even support that you're giving your students. To Francis, what do you have to tell students who aspire to go and do their international studies or even be part of any other exchange program that is coming up?
As I have said, you first keep in touch with your mentors and the professors. Then when students are doing their studies, most of them just study to pass exams. So I would like to change the narrative, and I would advise students to read to understand. So after you have understood, then when you are exposed to outside world, you are able to cope with those people from other continents. For example, the Chinese people, they are very bright. So if you are just reading to pass exams, you cannot reason with them. So it will give you a challenge. Yes.
Thank you so much for sparing your time and for giving students, telling them that there are more opportunities in the science field. You know, we're living in times where people believe that being or existing in a science field, you just have to have the title of either being called a doctor or an engineer. or someone like radiologist, those
Yes.
big titles that the African culture are pushing for. But from your experience and from what you're doing, trying to coach your students, this is very evident that there are more opportunities in the science field, in the physics field, in the quantum field. It's up to you to push yourself out there and to just work hard for it and put yourself out there. I have been your host. My name is Whitney Lubidu. Looking forward to seeing you again. Remember to follow us across all social media platforms. That is at UNC Radio KE, UNC TV KE, and my page at __.